Alright, fans of every Canadian NHL team, we need to have a bit of a talk. None of our favorite teams are going to make the Stanley Cup playoffs this season.
Hey, the Sens might still make it.
Alright, that's true. Ottawa's only 5 points out. You're right, Ottawa. Today's topic, tanking. Now, sometimes we forget the purpose of it, the science of it, and also the art of it. So let's review. The purpose of it, finish as low in the standings as you possibly can so that you can get a better draft pick. Most Leafs and Oilers fans grasp this based on experience, but the rest of you seem a little confused. Just because you're in last place doesn't mean you're going to get the first overall pick. Which brings us to our first bullet point in the NHL equivalent of the Hunger Games. May the odds ever be in your favor. Let's just look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, who, by the way, are in dead last right now. With the new lottery format, there is a chance that Toronto could lose all 3 lottery balls and get knocked down not from first to second, not from first to third, but from first to 4th. Ha ha, Leafs! Don't you feel stupid for finishing last? Well, then you have to ask yourselves a question. Would you rather pick 4th in the draft or 5th? How about 4th or 6th? 4th or 7th? 4th or... The answer's 4th, you silly goose! Although it does give you the best odds to get the first overall pick, finishing last place does not guarantee you the first overall pick. It does, however, guarantee you that you will get the best pick possible outside of the lottery. So for example, right now, of all the teams not currently in a playoff spot, the Philadelphia Flyers are the best, meaning they have the worst chance at the first overall pick winning the lottery. They didn't beat your team because of a brilliant strategy, they won because of dumb luck. Well, I think the NHL should ditch their current format, and every team that doesn't make the playoffs has an equal opportunity at winning the lottery. And then tanking will no longer make sense. Ha! Which brings us to our next topic. More draft picks is always better. Let's say there's a smart team out there and they have 7 draft picks and they pick well with those 7 draft picks. If you are also smart with your draft picks and you have 12 of them, you're looking that much better. So if your team is obviously not going to qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs like the Leafs are this year, even if you don't want to tank, it makes sense to trade away players, sell off assets in exchange for prospects and picks. Which brings us to our last and most controversial topic. Rebuilds don't work. Look at the Oilers. You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. The Oilers are still having another bad season despite having all this talent from the first round of the draft. Jordan Eberle, Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Nail Yakupov, Darnell Nurse, Leon Draisaitl, and even Connor McDavid. You're right. The Oilers just... they prove it doesn't work. Why couldn't they be more like the Tampa Bay Lightning with Steven Stamkos and Victor Hedman? Oh. Alright, well how about the Capitals with Backstrom and Ovechkin? Well, I mean, the Blackhawks have 3 cups in 6 years. They didn't do that with tanking. They did that with Taves and Okay, Smarty Pants, what about the Pittsburgh Penguins then? They're struggling to even make the playoffs this year, and they tanked for a while, and they got Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin out of it, and what do they have to show for it besides the Stanley Cup? Cutting off my sarcasm here, the point I am making is the Oilers are not the rule, they are the exception. Even if you draft really well in the first round, if you don't draft well in the other rounds, if you make silly trades, if you make ridiculous signings, that can have some adverse effects on your team. So look, I get it. Believe me, as a Leaf fan, I get it. If you're new to this whole tanking thing, it can be pretty hard. I mean, I'm talking to you in this video, but I'm also talking to myself. All you gotta do is remember the 3 key rules. 1, getting the best draft pick possible is always a smart move. 2, getting as many draft picks as possible is always the smart move. And 3, try really hard not to be the Edmonton Oilers. If you follow these simple rules, you will be the Chicago Blackhawks in no time. Or like half a decade, something like that.